I was born in 1946 in Kecskemét, Hungary. My parents were liberated from Auschwitz. They're Holocaust survivors. They were liberated in the spring of 1945. In a way, I'm one of the earliest babies to have been born after World War II. Had I been born prior to World War II, I wouldn't be here. I would not have survived, just by definition. So then we lived in Kecskemét. My parents and I lived in Kecskemét till about till 1950. So when I was 4 years old, my parents and I moved to Budapest. And we lived in Budapest till 1956, till the start of the revolution. I remember so vividly, in fact, so very vividly, the city that I lived in, Budapest. It was so, to me, so magical and beautiful and full of wonder. And I remember the sparkling Danube River and the magnificent bridges that span the river, connecting Buda to Pest. So, you know, as a child, I had just the wonderful memories of this magical city that was filled with music to me. And Hungary has a tremendous history and commitment and musical culture. And so very early on as children, if you were at all gifted in music as a child, all you had to do was go ahead and take a test, a musical test that they gave you, and you would be assured free music lessons. Well, the interesting part about the song Single Violet is that the revolution broke out in 1956, the fall. And throughout that summer and the year before, it seemed that, you know, music was always, the radio was always on in our apartment, and there was music that was just in the air all the time. And obviously, I was somewhat of a musical child, so I would listen to these songs, but they were pretty much in an unconscious way, you know, sort of like they're in the background. And this song must have been one of them. The reason I say that is because when all of a sudden the revolution happened, October 1956, the music obviously stopped. The radio got turned off. We had to go down to the cellar to be protected from the bullets and the chaos that went on in the streets. So our life came to a sudden halt. There was no more music, you know, we were in the cellar. And so I never heard that song again until about 35 years later. One day it just came back to me, and I, from memory, started to sing it. And along with the song came all the memories of the childhood. And that song seemed to capture that wonderful childhood as I remembered it, in an idealistic, like children do in their idealized fashion. These shoes, I didn't really know that my parents kept them for me until, I guess, we arrived to this country, and I don't know when, but, you know, they certainly didn't ask me, do you want these or anything? They just kept them. And so these were the shoes that I wore all that fall, that I wore to school, that I wore to Hebrew school. You know, your shoes tell a lot about who you are and where you come from. And I think the shoe captures it all. It captures the music, it captures the pavement of the city streets, it captures the escape. When I hear the Hungarian lyric, and the English too, what it means to me is the country that I left behind, you know, the city that I left behind. It's very touching, even if as I talk about it now. Somehow, the song talks about it.
Become a Docublogger. Log on to Docubloggers.org to share your opinions and story ideas, or get out your camera and create your own Docublog.